Hello everybody, welcome to my video on OBS tips and tricks that I've accumulated over time by using OBS Studio. Most of the tips and most of the tricks have been learned by using the program itself, just exploring the program. So this is everything you can learn too by just exploring the program, looking at all the options we have, and maybe combining some testing left and right, see what is possible. What I want to start on in this video is how you can make your own overlay and how you can force text to be always in the overlay. For instance, you can see the boxes below me right here have a set limit to the boxes. Now the thing is that I do, let me go to my overlay square, which is right here, and I will show you what it looks like. There you go. And I need to have this one up here. My bad. Right, so here you can see this is my overlay, and we have these texts in here. Let's do the last follow, and if I were to go to where this text is located, which is in the AnkBot files, and that would be most recent follower. Let's go and find it here for a minute. We got most recent follower, which is then Shane Doxson. If I were to change this into something really long, like really long, can't use spaces, hold on, really long username on Twitch, and save that. See, you can see that it keeps the text fixed within the border. It might not be readable now, but it does keep it fixed within the border. And how I managed to get that is in OBS. That'll reset itself very soon. In OBS, you can go and right click, transform, edit transform, and you can set this to a maximum size only. Then in OBS, if you click on the texts icons themselves, like you're gonna have to edit them, but you can click it here then, and oh well, yeah, mine is blocked right now. You can set the borders by changing the borders that you want to change, so you can fix it on a certain border limit, and then you can set it to position alignment, maybe top left, maybe top middle. But what I've did, alignment in bounding box would be center left for me, since center left makes it center left forces it to always be in the center from top to bottom, but also align to the left. So if there's a username that is maybe like 3 characters long, for instance, so let's open that. Can we open that? Yes, we can. Most recent follower. Let's see, short. See, it'll align to the left and stay to the left. And then of course for the other two, which is the subscriber, I've done the same on that one, but on the cheer one and on the donation one, I have changed it to center right, so it forces it to stay on the right depending on how long and how short it is. And then the boxes are just set. You got to test it out a bit, make long names, make short names, change the file a bit up. And once you change the file, you can see if it's getting out of your borders, and then you have to change the size of the border in OBS editor, and that way you can have your own little text overlay. So that is for the texts. You can also make it scrolling by just adding a filter and adding a scroll to it, which will make it start going bonkers. But I like the solid text a lot more, which makes it a little bit easier to read for other people that are watching you at that moment. Then, and once you have this made, you want to have to decide on having an overlay image. You could have two overlay images, one for the right, one for the left. For instance, if you were to go, let me show you, you could have something like this, which you would then be, of course, for the left side, and then flip it for the right side. So this would be for the right side. There you go. And in that way, you could have it like left and right. You can make multiple overlay sources, and then you can change that. In a other video, I will, in this video later on, I will explain how you could make a certain scene in scenes, which is useful if you're making overlays, if you make cam borders, if you make anything that has like multiple things that you want to be able to move across the screen. For instance, right now we have the stream gaming one, which is the one that you're seeing right now. It has this cam scene that I can move about. You can't see that right now. There you go. Now you can see that I'm moving it about. Let me enable a preview so I can move it back. So you can see that this cam scene is movable, but the problem is the overlay stays where it is. So once you have to move this, you're gonna have to move the overlay too. Let's try and move that, and then you have to position them correctly again, and blah blah blah. But what you could do is you could let me disable these. You could make something like this, which is basically the exact same thing, but it's a scene within a scene. And it is the bottom right scene because I have a whole system going on. But this bottom right scene is basically just my camera, and as you can see, and it is the overlay square, and it has some multi-counter sources which you cannot see right now. Let me change back to this one here. So that is basically that one. Where is it? Bottom right. You can see there's the multi-counter sources. This is just some things that I've added into my own camera scene, and it allows me to just move around everything that I need to move around. Without having to fuck around with another thing, and then another thing, and another one, and another one, and more and more and more. And now I can just move the camera about where I want to have it. I want to have it here, fine. Then now it's here. Now I want to have it here, now it's there. Without having to change the borders, without having to change anything weird. The reason why I have this bottom right thing and the cam scene and the overlay square, real quick, there we go, is the reason why I have that is because I have this full cam setup, which basically allows me to change my camera position anywhere that I want. Let me actually, there we go. Now you guys can see that. See, I can do this without having to do anything, and that is with hotkeys. So what I've made is I made a full camera with the cam positions. Then the cam positions have all of the camera possibilities in there, and then I have just hotkeys set up to which disables all the other ones except the one that I want to have enabled. This is all possible in Streamlabs OBS too, so you could basically make this in Streamlabs OBS as well. Now here you can see all the hotkeys that I've done for the cam positions, which is basically Control Alt and then a numpad button to correspond to that. Same thing I've did with the monitor sources. I've made the same thing, which I can just change around if I want to, whatever source I am using, or I can disable them all. And how to do that is the reason why I want to do that. So we're starting now on the in-scene scenes bit, where what I want to discuss too. The reason why I want to discuss is in stream gaming, I have the capture sources, I have the full cam, which is an in-game, which is a in-scene scene. I have a chat box, which is an in-scene scene. I have alerts, overlay, and everything in here is actually an in-scene scene. Which, for the capture sources, is everything that I need to capture, and Elgato is on the bottom. Chrome Audio is something else. That's a little audio source for Chrome. But Elgato is the last one. This isn't a capture source, but Elgato is the last one. And then we've got all the games that I might play at some point, and the monitor sources. So if I turn the monitor sources off, it basically gives you no signal because there's no game running right now. And the monitor sources then have the main monitor, right monitor, top monitor, and left monitor in there. The alerts have all my alerts that I control with the bot, which gives a OBS remote, OBS WebSocket plugin. Is connected to Streamlabs chatbot, which enables the alerts to play or not, which is these kind of things. Which is I've done that because I wanted full screen alerts. That's everything. That's the only reason why I did that. We've got overlay lulls, which is basically just funny things I want to add to my stream. For instance, the Vault Boy that walks about on the bottom of the screen when I'm playing Fallout games. Or I could add other things like maybe a dragon flying over when I'm playing Skyrim every so what minutes. Then I've got the overlay square, which is basically the thing that we've showed a bit ago, which has all the text in there and the overlay image. If you were to make a very complicated overlay completely yourself, this would be a very easy way to have that overlay always visible in case you were to make a new scene, or you have an overlay that is movable, or you have a webcam border that has overlay that has the follow alerts and the follow text and the subtext and all built into the CamBorder. Then this would be one of the reasons why you want a scene in a scene, so to speak. We've got the cam positions, full cams. I've showed you guys that already. And then we've got the multi-counter sources, which are basically just counters that are on the bottom right here. And they are represented in every cam that I have, which are all controlled also, again, with the Stream Deck. The reason why for capture shows, you'd only have to add one to your capture sources, and then for everything it has that source as a capture for all the scenes that you use capturing on. For instance, I use it on stream gaming. I have this one, but I also have it on intermission. And in intermission, I don't want to have to add a new scene with a new game recorder and whatever the fuck, because some games don't like it when you record the monitor, and some games don't like it when you record the game. So right now I have it, I just find the one that it likes and I add that to the capture sources, and that is now stuck, and that is now fit into my intermission, into my gaming. And for instance, I have it also under my chatting, which is like a little bit faded. I've got the opacity, I've turned that down, and then people can, what they're chatting about is basically above the chat border and whatever they're seeing, so they can see what I'm preparing. Or in the starting scene, I have that one too, and that is this one, which has another scene in a scene in a scene, which is basically the capture sources in a new scene called chat capture background. And because the reason why I did that is if I change filters on this capture sources one, it will change for every place it has that capture sources. So I needed a new scene that I could change. So I made the chat capture background, only placed the capture sources in there, and now I can actually add a scene or add a filter to this scene that will change the color correction. It won't change this one, but it will change that one. And that allows me then to have that chat background transparency or opacity, which I wanted, Basically, it adds a new scene, but it does allow you to do a lot more with those things. And like I said, it changes whatever I have it on every time, which is solid, and I want consistency in my stream, basically. For monitor sources, it might not be useful. You might just only want to capture one monitor. That could just be added in the capture sources, but I've got multiple monitors that I sometimes use when I'm making code for a bot, or when I'm scripting a bot command. I use multiple monitors, and then I switch between those with the hotkeys. And that is basically the reason why this is a tip and trick. It just allows you to do much more in one scene. Otherwise, this would just be completely filled with all the things that the overlay has, the webcam has, the capture sources, the Elgato, the monitor captures, the alerts, everything. Everything would be in this one, and now it has just that. And when I feel like, okay, no more camera's off. Alright, no more capture sources is off. Only reason why. Now the next one is you can, if you do this with the capture sources, you can make a very easy hotkey for CutScene moments. So I've seen a lot of people streaming a game that has beautiful cutscenes, and then I hear some like clickety clackety on the keyboard, which is basically them just holding like a hotkey, and they have like a mouse macro that literally just moves the mouse to all the hide things here. Like they start hiding all these things, and they have a mouse macro for that. But some others use like the hotkey, so they have like a hotkey set with control and then all the buttons from 1 to 9, so they're like 1 2 3 4 9 when a cutscene happens, and then we're back 9 9 1, and they press buttons and they go frantically whenever a cutscene happens. When I have a cutscene, which is that one, it mutes the mics and everything, it mutes the music and everything. You can see that here happening, and you can see here what happens when I press that button. It moves my camera. But it actually doesn't move my camera away. It just basically, what I did is I've got the capture sources on the bottom, but I've put one on top too. And the one that is on top now takes over. That one is shown. See, there you go. Everything is hidden, everything is gone, nothing is seen anymore. And I have the hotkeys set to then, let's see, where is it? That is the Elgato one. Oh, here we go. There it was. Right, so I have show capture sources and hide capture sources, and show capture sources and hide capture sources. Both of them I have it on the same button. But the reason why OBS automatically does this, because it finds capture sources and it's a duplicated reference in the same scene. Basically, it'll give the same hotkey to both of them. So if you were to set this one to another hotkey, like maybe 4, that won't work. It won't keep it on 4. It'll fix it on that hotkey again, because, or it will either change this one to 4 too. That's possible too. It has that a bit. It has that little problem in it. Not a problem. If you want to have 2 different hotkeys for it, you can do that too. Just make another scene with another capture sources, and then put that new capture sources scene into your gaming scene, which is differently named, and then you can have 2 different hotkeys for that. But the hotkey, OBS key F14, which is basically the F13 to, what is it again? 24. Yeah, the F13 to 24 keys. They're not used by anything, so that's what I routed to my mouse, which has 12 buttons on the side, and that's what I use to control most of OBS with. And here you can see it also mutes the mic and it mutes the music. And you could do that with like some kind of hotkey, like maybe scroll lock will do the same one on the keyboard. If you don't have a mouse with multiple buttons, you could set it on the Stream Deck. You could still make a button on the Stream Deck. Let me open that, for instance, here. Let's see, system, hotkey. There we go. Okay, we have to do this one, F keys, and let's say F14. F14 changes that, and it says CutScene. Oh, CutScene. Right. And this will do the same. See, it mutes it again. Well, you guys are not seeing it disappear, but you see it disappear here. If I were to change... There you go. Now you can actually see that it's gone. But... not possible. Whoops. I just muted myself. Well, OBS has the OBS Studio mode doesn't allow you to change things in the scene that it's already in, except when, like, for instance, the full cam does allow you to do that, because it's scenes in full cam that are changing and not things in stream gaming that are changing. So it is possible if you do it like that, but if you were to then decide I want to disable that, it won't work, because you're disabling a scene inside OBS Studio that is already showing that scene. All right, same for the camera. We already discussed that, and the in scenes on scenes and the CutScene button, which is that one. For instance, CutScene abilities. I would, if you have a mouse that you have programmable buttons on, and you want to use the buttons for OBS, I would very much recommend using the F13 to 24 keys. Solely because not a single game uses those. Not a single program uses those. They have to be programmed. And so, yeah, that's definitely a recommendation from me that I would say you have to do. I think that's about all I can go about right now about my OBS things that I've learned over time that are useful. It might look very like busy in my scenes, but the only things that I change in are these few here, and I go into capture sources to add a new capture. That's about it. That's all I do. And I hope this helps out some people with a little bit of knowledge on the insides of OBS, and maybe it'll prompt you to explore OBS a little bit more. OBS, there's a lot of plugins for OBS you can download. I'm using the WebSocket plugin for the Streamlabs chatbot, which basically allows me to have that happen, which is a full screen alert that usually doesn't look that good. And how I did that is basically make a video, and in the notifications it'll give a OBS timed source to my follow alert, and that will enable that source. You can see that. Let me play that again. You can see that it's enabled for 4 seconds, and then it disables again. That's how it works. It's very useful if you want to have more pretty alerts, like better quality alerts. But you're adding more steps that might go wrong though, so it's a bit of a hit and miss. See what fits for you. If it doesn't fit, it's all right. Okay, I think that's about it. We got a 25 video out of this, so I'm hoping people are gonna sit through it. I'll put timestamps in the video for what. I'll put timestamps in the video for the moments when I start discussing certain things, and the music that we've been listening to right now is from Petra Vita. I had permission from Petra to use his music. You guys go check him out. He is on SoundCloud and on Spotify, and he also streams his music. I will put the descriptions, put the links in the descriptions, and you guys can go check him out. Right, that's about it for me. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope I helped a little bit with making your scenes and streams look better, maybe not better, but easier for you to control. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys later. Bye bye.